Welcome to the Game Lounge. Okay. Ow.
I'll brush this off.
How is he still hitting? Ouch, kabibbles.
My vow is to serve.
Oh!
Pain and duty go
These guys are
hand
hitting
in hand.
hard. %, and you missed.
High momentum.
Fill him with lead. Don't run now, man.
Reduced to dust.
Told you not to run. Requesting cessation of hostilities. The unit that called itself Tarzus Hanuman is dead, has been disabled. This material asset is beyond restoration or reuse as spare parts. After a pause, Pasqual bows his head, and a binaric requiem pours out of his vox. Despite his misconceptions, he was a servant of the Omnissiah. What'd you do? Unable to fulfill request, the Omnissiah granted me an epiphany, and I muted the maimed machine spirit that was filling Tarzus' mind with fury. I do not fully understand the manner of my appeal to it. The situation perfectly mirrors the incident on Reichad Minoris, where I appealed to the machine spirit of a malfunctioning mechanism and laid it to rest. I'm sorry. I also have a negative assessment of this event. The Adeptus Mechanicus still accused the unit identifying itself of Pasqual Newman of criminal theft of a unique identification code. Unlike Tech Brother Tarzus, I am not authorized to immediately execute the unit, but neither am I authorized to drop the inquiry. There are no apostates among us. The piercing vox from the vox synth is more overwhelming than Tarzus' thunderous roar. Tech Brother Tarzus and the machine spirit that lived in his battle harness succumbed to the suffering that beset them. Their judgment was rash and erroneous. Now their torment is over. I declare them martyrs, and am requisitioning Tarzus Hanuman's neural augmetic for the purposes of preserving his blessed memory. As astonished tech priests look on, Pasqual leans over the slain man's body and extracts the augmetic from his skull. His movements are as precise as they are respectful. Whatever you did, it's working. Keep going. Do it, man. Keep going. With each word, Pasqual's voice grows more powerful and majestic. You saw the agony your tech brother Tarzus was in. His unbridled, pain-spurred faith intimidated you. Yet, you were silent. Reverence stopped you from raising your voices to proclaim that the machine spirit with which his mind had merged was morbidly afflicted. The imperative of reverence had paralyzed your will, and you watched a tragedy unfold in silence. The sixth universal law states that comprehension is the true path to knowledge, yet the procedural cycle has robbed you of your comprehension. Therefore, let the cycle be discontinued. There is a clang as Opticon's 22's knees press into the floor. Crimson hooded heads are bowed. Let the cycle be discontinued. The radiant light pouring out of Pasqual's visor grows dimmer. Static creeps back into his voice. Let the cycle be discontinued, Temk comrades. There's one small point I'm not clear on. What just happened? Pasqual's vox synth crackles somewhat tentatively. I decided to sustain my words with an excerpt from one of the Blessed Amaranth's sermons. On loss of internal and external function, verse 4. My analysis deemed it appropriate. Request denied. The Kappa Thread supply line delegation is leaving Dargonus, expresses gratitude for the hospitality ceasefire, and proclaims its intent to return to Footfall to resume performing its regular functions. The tech priest looks over Pasqual as if waiting for something. Pasqual's mechadendrite briefly touches the shoulder of Opticon 22, who bows respectfully. Alright. What you got? Anything over here? Is there? Is there? No. To the bridge. No. Alright, here we go. Let us land. I gotta scan my own planet. Administratum. Yeah. We'll go with that. Long live the rogue trader. Greetings, your lordship. They're already talking. They're already talking about me, those bastards. Oh, who's this guy? Clementia Wersarian. Oh. The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your lordship. The stately woman in a long, full-dress uniform makes a graceful curtsy. Her short, graying hair does not obscure her stern features. I am Clementia Wersarian, a court chancellor of the von Valancius dynasty. On behalf of all of Dargonus, please accept my deepest condolences on the ultimate passing of Theodora von Valancius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all. But as one star expires, another always flares to life, and although still overcome with bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you will become the trade dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. Clementia? Ooh. Oh, God! Oh! What's this Edward Scissorhand looking guy here? Oh! That's Achilles Scalander. Oh my. The young man, that's a young man. Ooh. Quickly brings a respirator to his burnt face and bows his head courteously. Oh, he's burnt. That's a bad burn. His raven black hair veils his burns and skull implants, and his thin metal fingers creak quietly as he offers a welcoming gesture. Achilles Scalander, secretary at the Administratum Department. I hope your journey to Dargonus was not darkened by unwanted troubles. It was uneventful, thank you. Not a lot happened on my way here. A lot. Yeah, it was uneventful. I'm glad to hear it, your lordship. Does your lordship wish to survey the grounds, or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have? Governor Urban Drivestem. Drivistem. It's either Drivestem or Drivistem. Has been notified of your arrival on Dargonus and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. Hold on, what did you say your last name was? Clementia nods politely. You heard correctly, your lordship. I am of House Wersarian, Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. Oh! It's his granddaughter. The succession of service is an effective good. It grants new generations understanding of their function within the mechanism. Chancellor Wersarian has held her position at the von Valancius court for many years. She earned Lord Captain Theodora's respect through acts of great perseverance. There is no room for doubt. Blood had nothing to do with it. The Emperor blesses those who strengthen humanity's domain through their deeds. He is surprised, but then immediately puts an air of indifference. Thank you, Lord Captain. Yeah, because I guess I haven't been very dogmatic. Why isn't he here? Apologies, your lordship. Governor I've got to figure out how to say that. You know, he's Drivestem. That's what he is. He's Drivestem. Governor Drivestem's residence is on the other side of the world, by the Administratum Palace of Dargonus. We sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it takes time to travel the great distances of your domain. Logic test. Ooh. Chancellor Wersarian appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with the new rogue trader. Lord. I would like to rest before the meeting. Where are my chambers? They are very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. Achilles' face brightens with a pearly white smile, restoring some of his former good looks. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival, we've arranged for it to be tidied up. It is ready for whenever you may need it. You are dismissed. I apologize for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps, before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes for a conversation with me? Achilles bows his head. I am certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the von Valancius Protectorate most useful. Alright. Oh. 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 Okay. Oh, everybody's just like standing around. Alright. Such illustrious society, such well-heeled nobles. Indeed, it would be worth visiting Dargonus even without getting to know you, Shireen. This world offers huge scope for doing business.
This could be an opportunity.
Oh, I hear goods. Toss a coin. The coin falls into the clear water and sinks to the bottom. Alright, where is it? There it is. I heard the goods. I'm gonna use a multi-key. Ooh. I need them I need to sell stuff. There's more loot. Where was loot? Where was loot over here? Goods. Oh, right there. That's hard to see. I'll just do a big circle and widen it out. Nope, not M. M. Of course. Oh, immortal God Emperor, be merciful to us. Alright, what's over here? This is like one of the first times I've gotten to go around without the party attached. Goods. Make your people leave. Dominator, their idle questions are getting in the way of my watch. Oh. Set of icons. Beacons. Oh, there's their outlet. Don't suffocate me, Lantak. I long to leave this twisted world. Oh, okay. No, okay. To my room! The crackle. Oh! Welcome, your lordship. Let me inform you of the location of the chambers on your dynastic estate. Please do. The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Condor, informed me that he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet with you there. Mm-hmm. If your lordship wishes to rest after your long journey, then your personal chambers are up the stairs and on the right. If you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Goods. Somebody sounds like he's dying somewhere, though. Yes, yes, long live the road trader. Okay, okay. Glenda. The slender figure, clad in robes made from expensive fabric, shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. Achilles, it's been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Achilles covers his burnt lips, failing to suppress a coughing fit. She She is in good health. She sends her regards to you, as well as her wishes for your swift return. Heinrich frowns. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Achilles thumps himself on the chest with his augmented hand. You hear the clanging of metal against metal. I am not so foolish as to fail to notice a conversation in code. Your insight deserves credit, rogue trader. Then again, I expected nothing less from Theodore von Valancius' successor. Heinrich's look at Achilles. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Cronus Expanse. I am sure you will find Achilles' services useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings, Lord Arbre. Von Valancius. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences on the loss of the Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Krunrad Voigtvil's accomplices on the capital world. Do you know anything? He nods grimly. Word of his treason reached Dargonus too late. Krunrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt, but it seems unlikely that the wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their heart and now nurtures it in secret. You promised me a report. I have already forwarded all official reports to your seneschal. As the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonus' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonus, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest, or whomever they deem to be the weakest. The nobles of Dargonus are well-respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own self-interests, and each one expects that with the transition of power they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drivistems, I guess. The Gapraks and the Sauerbachs. I should also mention the Worsarians. Not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to the Blue Bloods' great displeasure. Well, fuck it. Alright, Drivistems. These guys are the ancient governor house of Dargonus. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the von Valancius protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that Urban Drive Stem rival seems to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drive Stems, but we lack solid proof, and it might never surface. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the von Valancius heir, not his servant. Aha. The Gapraks hail from a remote forge world, and among their distant relatives there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Gapraks oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiavagama was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planets placed in their care. Well, I know the Sauerbachs. Religious and hardworking, Sauerbachs own many enterprises, including distillation manufactorums that produce promethium. I must note that lately the members of the Sauerbach family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the von Valancius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora is a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. The Worsarians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility. At least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonus, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they never were granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonus. And secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favor. The Worsarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. Anything else? There was, your lordship, and this time it concerns the many reasons for my presence on this planet. Xenos, and the threat they pose to both you and the humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the Coronis expanse. Warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or even been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. Achilles looks at you with one eye blinking, or looks you in the eye without blinking. It is within my power to supply you with the intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drivestem... I'm going to say it differently every single time. Will beg you for protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, Aubrey, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert a disaster. Okay. Okay, so we already did all that. Okay, yeah. Alright, we already pretty much got all that. He bows. Achilles bows. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Drivestem has arrived at court. I imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is to notify her that you are ready to see Urband. Okay. Your Lordship. Clementia bows her head politely. For a Chancellor to a rogue trader, she is dressed rather simply. A parade doublet, polished boots, and a comfortable cloak. She bears a saber in a gilded scabbard, with whether for show or protection one could not say. Only her ring with the Wersarian coat of arms indicates that she is the highest social stratum. The governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. The sharp gaze, the impeccably straight back, the composure. For a moment you feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his heir. Judging by the scars on the exposed parts of her body, Clementia saw her fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of Chancellor. What are your responsibilities? To put it simply, I am your trade representative. Any and all decrees, deals, official communication, and meetings are first reviewed by me and then forwarded to you and from you down the hierarchy. My purview also includes overseeing your lordship's property, the palace, the estates, the many gardens, and the other domains on Dargonus that you have inherited from Lady Theodora. And whenever you are present on Dargonus, consider me your personal secretary. What can you tell me? All deals and important decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, an ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum, which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighboring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They now toil across the entire world. Oh. That would suck. Dargonus is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. If I may express my not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly stands at the helm. These piranhas think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the Protectorate itself, if not more. And lastly, Dargonus has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships, which are used to transport cargo between worlds. Does the capital stay in contact? Unfortunately, not at this time. Your lordship, after the few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica and Dargonus went into a frenzy, some of the Psychers were tragically pacified by the respective authorities. Since then, communication with the neighboring systems has been unreliable at best. Thanks to be the master of mankind that you managed to find your way to the capital. What's the sense of keeping them if they're so volatile? Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy has formed within the ruling elite of Dargonus. The great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished, to a large degree, thanks to their administrative work in their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements, but right now it could threaten the fragile stability that is currently holding the Protectorate together. Alright, anything else? Anything else? Apart from the disrupted communications, Dargonus was recently raided by enemies of humanity. However, the fleet under the command of Captain Marthius Versarian triumphed over the accursed Xenos. If you ask for my opinion on this matter, we have the situation completely under control. Awareness succeeded. You catch her avoiding your gaze for just a moment. For the first time, It's obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name, but despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell that she does not entirely believe her own words. Nope. Well, tell me about the governor, then. Urban Drivestem is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonus, but throughout the Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administration and the logistics between the Von Valencia systems. The Drivestem's efforts secured years of order and prosperity for Dargonus. What's more, Lady Theodora personally insisted that Lord Urban specifically be made the next governor. I serve the Von Valancia's Protectorate, your lordship. Alright, let's go see him. Clementia bows before leaving. I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study. 2 hours had passed. Oh. Aubrey Von Valancius, 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the sacred warrant, and ruler of the Cronus expanse, from the Cranach system to the 100 Dreams crossroads, I bid you welcome. Urban Drivestem, governor of this great world, first and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora Von Valancius. It pains me to think that she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonus and of the entire Protectorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare half a year of mourning so that we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. The governor glances at Cabela anxiously. She's standing like right there. And then immediately averts his gaze. Then he looks at her again, but when Cabela lets out a grim chuckle and stretches her lips, daubed in fresh blood, into a petrifying grin, the governor turns away from her sharply, all but squealing in fear. Alright, full year. I guess that. I will immediately give all necessary instructions to your lordship. He casually presses a few buttons on the cogitator built into his gold bracer. Esteemed Aubrey, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and preserve in spite of this tragedy. Together, and let us carry on where she no longer can by leading the Von Valancia's Protectorate to even greater prosperity. As much as the governor is trying to appear sincere, there is something in the curve of his nervous half-smile that you find troubling. Is it a hint of reproach, mockery, condemnation, or is it merely your guilty conscience? Oh, it's playing tricks on you under the governor's keen gaze. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargonus flew into a rage, and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with neighboring worlds, but contacts are still weak, and the routes are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonus Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the Von Valancia's dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. Well, yeah, he's, but we could test him. Okay, he's truthful. The governor pensively strokes the rings glittering on his fingers. Ooh. Lord Voigtfear visited the capital some time ago, but he did not request a personal meeting. A heretic, you say? Now I see where all the whispering in the corridors has come from. I shall be frank with you, your lordship. Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us, and the absence of any sort of verifiable and complete information about her successor gives grounds for all manner of rumors and misinterpretations, especially if someone is deliberately inciting unrest and discontent. Naturally, none would dare challenge you by accusing you of something as sacrilegious as murdering a rogue trader. However, Kunrad Voigtveer was once a true boon to the Protectorate back in the day, and as such, some might heed his words. Oh! Without interruption. Oh, publicly rip out the vocal cords and tongues of every slanderer and replace them with vox implants that sing the praises of rogue trader Aubrey Von Valancius without interruption. I should think that will serve as a reminder of who rules this world. My God, could you imagine trying to sleep with that? My subject's doubts are understandable. Too many things have changed in too short a span. I will prove myself worthy of my position. Why, Aubrey, your desire is most commendable. Please do not forget, a ruler should never bow to their attendants, or some might see it as a show of weakness. Okay. Right, well, what do you expect of me? We are all troubled by the fate of the agri-world Janus that supplied Dargonus and other planets with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Gaprak is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world Kiavagama, which was in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is the penal world Vibos, Vibos 4, one of the key mining suppliers in your protectorate. Such intriguing concern for the Vibos 4 outpost. Doesn't your house happen to own the extraction stations there? Oh, Draftstem's beady eyes widen in fear. Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without Vibos 4, the manufactorums on your worlds will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipments, and in these troubling times they run risk of delays and other most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the Von Valancius dynasty. I've already visited the agri-world, Janus. Truly, the Viat line is one of the oldest in the Von Valancius protectorate. If the inheritor of such well-respected blood could not handle whatever had befallen her, then the situation must have been extraordinary indeed. Oh yeah, because we told everybody that she was killed by Xenos, I think. Phils was appropriately measured in indignation. Profane fiends, may the Emperor smite their breed for the death of his diligent servant Vistenza. Alright, what else? Xenos, your lordship. I don't rightly know where to begin. Otherworldly beasts are not an uncommon sight in the Cronus expanse. They have been a menace to the worlds this side of the Maw for decades. But now those abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonus. Luckily, we are forced to slay only some of the deranged psychers, although those that remain are as yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his word and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his reports, the region of Vibos 4 has been of particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. Now, to issues on a smaller scale. There is a certain degree of tension in the capital due to unorthodox succession of the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprisings are minimal. Of course, then the spreading of rumors is nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nonetheless, I have prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them? Command the spinners of the blood-spun web, and they will set a fine snare of retribution. Dome and Aubrey, we will whisper names, and that whisper will drown out insolent voices. Send them lavish gifts. An elegant solution, your lordship. Other families will assume that your relationships with the Defiant houses are more complicated than one might think, and the agitators will receive the message that they are being watched. Okay. And one last thing, your lordship. Your inauguration as bearer of the Sacred Warrant is but a matter of time, and I would like to inquire about one crucial detail. I imagine you are intended to uphold the centuries-old tradition, bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship, being represented on Dargonus by one of the noble houses. I presume that, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivestem. One moment, which houses can represent me? Any of the noble houses located on Dargonus. The Drivestem family, which I lead, the Gaprak family, which long ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Sauerbachs, known for their piety and diligence in service. Perhaps I should also mention the Wersarians, who have some influence but who are not actually of noble origin. Any one of these houses would be honored to represent you at the ceremony. Ooh. I think I could shake things up. No. I never doubted your lordship's decision. I can tell that the future holds a fruitful partnership for us, and prosperity for all Dargonus. I shall immediately relay all your orders, most gracious rogue trader. May the gold of the throne illuminate your path. Let's complete this thing. I am afraid that until you deal with pressing issues, the ceremony will have to be postponed. Many trade routes are still unavailable. The central worlds of the Von Valancius Protectorate are going through a crisis, and the warp disturbances, if void observers are to be believed, will prevent important guests from reaching the capital. Alright, that'll be all. Thank you for your time, your lordship. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Alright.